Welcome to the channel. My name is Jodie Knight. You can find my live portfolio over on eToro. The link is in the description below for that. But in this video here, we're going to talk about PayPal's price action. We're going to look at the daily chart, the weekly chart. We're also going to take a look at the open options interest. As well as that, we'll talk about my price targets, where I'm going to add, where I'm going to trim, all that good stuff, fair value and all that. On top of that, though, we're going to have a quick look at the general market, what's happening. We're going to look at the economic data from yesterday and what's coming today. And then also we'll take a look at some PayPal news if I can find any. If not, we'll find something else interesting to talk about briefly. Okay, here we go. I'm going to try and get through this without my dog making too much noise. As you can see, she's currently sat behind me moaning. I think she knows she's going to the groomer tomorrow to get rid of this little beard that she's got. But hopefully she stays quiet. Dogs keep walking past the house, so apologies if she kicks off. I might have to pause the video. Straight at the chart, though. PayPal's been a super sneaky little grinder here. We've had this really nice consistent move up. It's not parabolic, it's not too aggressive, it's not too slow. It's just right. It's like that Goldilocks price action. The pullbacks, it hasn't been good to swing trade because the pullbacks haven't been good. So I've kind of held off trimming this one for a while. I'm a little bit overweight on this one, but I'm happy to stay overweight on this one until we're kind of at $100, which is about 15% from where we are. And even when we get there, there's a potential that I won't trim until we get to fair value, which for me is $124 right now. Now, I'm kind of holding off on this one on making any rash decisions because I really want to wait till 2025 to see how the ads business does. And I think Q1 is actually going to be very good, judging from the numbers that we've seen already for Cyber Monday and all that stuff. But we'll talk about that in the news section. Price-wise, though, if I was going to take them off the table, I'd probably take a little bit off today at the kind of $90 mark, but I don't really want to. But next logical levels to the upside. Bear me a second. The VRVP is not showing. For some reason, it keeps disappearing off my charts, which is annoying. So we're kind of going into that area where there's not much volume, shelf support, but that doesn't mean we can't build out a nice support in that area. So likely see us pushing up to this next area and then either chopping slightly above it or below it. Then after that, we've got $100. We do have quite a big bearish divergence coming now, though, so I'd like to see a good push higher to invalidate that. That'd be nice. To the downside, though, if we do slip down, this $80 area would be great. Let me see if it's worth adding there. Might add a little bit, but I'm not going to be trimming on this one. If you trim and you're expecting an 8% pullback, is it really worth it for something that's moving this slow and steady? No, it's not. It's not volatile enough to warrant swing trading. Stuff like CleanSpark and Tesla, though, swing trade those bad boys all day. Very rewarding. MACDX Plus, we did have an overbought, but we've faded it out, and it still looks really strong. The whales are still loving it, and flows still, it's good, but there's room to go higher. On the weekly, we talked about this before on last week's video, I think. Sorry. This could be a really nice cup and handle if we did form it. Honestly, I would expect it more to form the $100 area. That's a really big psychological level. People kind of turn their nose up at these psychological levels, but look how long Bitcoin stayed under 100K when it really had no reason to. Price discovery should go up quite dramatically then as well. So if we got to $100 and we pulled back down to 90, that would be definitely buy that dip and a measured move of that. I can find my little thing. This is just a ballpark, by the way. Don't hold me to any of this. That gets us to about $200, which, if the ads business does what it potentially could do, that's a fairly reasonable price target. It's not a big shocking number. That doesn't mean it has to hit it in 5 minutes, by the way. It could take a year or two to get to those measured moves. Just looking at my notes. Yeah, I think that's all there was to talk about. We did invalidate the bearish divergence on the weekly, which was good. And the MACDX Plus looks good as well. Okay, before we jump into options, I did want to I've just noticed the cutest thing on my dog. Look at that little sticky up bit of hair, the little alfalfa spike. It's definitely getting long. Anyway, before I get distracted even more, the options interest for PayPal. Market makers are probably going to want to dump it under this kind of 89 range. You can see the volume here for the strikes is pretty strong. They don't want to see these guys being all in the money. Support to the downside though, that 82 range. So like we talked about, 80 on the charts. That's going to be an area where the market makers will bump it up as well. Although there's not particular amount of action on here, we'll probably see it in one of the other strikes. A week after, 77 is a very large support. I wouldn't imagine PayPal's ever going to go back that low. So if you're waiting for that, it's quite ambitious unless something happens in the general economy. 87 also really good support. So the range for PayPal is getting quite tight in regards to the big fish and the market makers, which are the ones in control of the market. As much as retail like to think they hold the power, they don't really. We do have the advantage though, we can sneak more. You won't find us popping up on dark pools anywhere. Pushing it out a week after, targets start to get a bit more scatty, but pretty much we're in the expected range. January 2025, prices start to move up. I mean, I don't think anyone's not expecting a good Q1 for this company. I'd be shocked if they are. The bear arguments for this have just melted away. I don't know how you can be bearish on it at the moment. Let's go January 2026 though. 2026. There we go. So a fair amount in the money already on this one, and 95 is a pretty solid strike. I think through the year when the ads business starts ramping up, these numbers are going to ramp up. But these are leaps that people have been holding on for a long time as well. Just realised I'm really low on my screen. So PayPal news, we had the kind of Cyber Monday data coming out. 111,000 businesses made their first sale this week on PayPal. That's going to translate to really good active user growth, revenue, and TPV for Q1. So that's total payment volume, which was the concerning area in the last earnings. Other than that, though, let's just say 1.3 million businesses had their best sales day of 2024. We can have a look here on the right side of the screen as well. Here's some of the stats from Cyber Monday. So what do we like? 7 billion in payments processed. That's good. That's a lot of milk to skim from. 100k SMBs made their first sale, so we talked about that. Powered double-digit growth in buy, pay now, pay later transactions. Amazing. Increased pay with Venmo transactions by double digits compared to Cyber. I mean, these are all great numbers. It's really hard to see a bearish quarter when you've added, 1 week's worth of data that's this good. And this isn't including the ads business as well, which is rolled out in 2025. So are we finally going to say that the PayPal CEO has shocked the world? I mean, no one thought he could turn this business around to the degree that he has. I think it was a bit of a fine line between people. The way he said the shock the world comment, everyone assumed that it was going to be instantly in the first quarter he was there. This company is massive. It takes time to turn this around. The guy was excited and he said an offhand comment. Maybe he didn't think everyone would take it so literally, but he was clearly excited for what he was going to do and what he was going to achieve. So give him a better slack. The things he's done, I mean, we never thought we'd ever see Venmo monetization. So he finally got a good Braintree go-to-market strategy. The PayPal Everywhere and Fastlane have really scaled up pretty fast. The partnerships are coming thick and fast. The ads business is going to roll out faster than most people expected. But just because it didn't happen in 3 months doesn't mean it wasn't going to happen. It just takes time. And there's even to this day a lot of doubters of PayPal. I can't wait to be fully vindicated in this one. All right, economic data. We talked about the mortgage data yesterday because it was already out when I made the video. ADP employment change. We like this one. This came in actually quite low. Let's have a look. Revised down as well. I don't like this data. But again, it depends which party you're in. Do you want the worst data to support the cuts, or what? I actually thought these numbers would be better, given that we're just approaching the holiday season and seasonality should be improving. I expected the services data to be better as well, but again, I mean, the global services PMI final didn't come in too much worse than expected, but it was better than previous, so we can't complain too much. ADP employment change was not better than previous, which is a bit of an issue. Business activity declining, ISM services employment declining. Interesting. I'll have a little look more through these numbers and see if I can pass something, because I don't like that these are all coming in super low. Fed chair speak. Now, I didn't listen to this live. My wife was going on holiday, so we spent the afternoon on the Xbox, because that's what you do when you're old and you can't be able to go out and party. So I'll catch that. But I did see some quotes flying around that he said Bitcoin, was good, basically. So no surprise, Bitcoin made a new high last night. I think the futures market hit it quite early, so it was inevitable it was going to strike that. But nonetheless, very exciting. Crypto and crypto proxies and alts and all that should do fairly well today. There should be some liquidity going in. What do they call it? I've got the word where when the price hits a certain psychological level and everyone's all of a sudden like, "Woo, price discovery." That's the one. Data today, though, challenger job cuts, that's already out. Again, this jobs data. I'm not surprised that we have seen a lot in the news about the automotive sector cutting jobs, but they don't make up too much of the number. What's making up the bulk here? I mean, they're just talking about cars, which is annoying, seeing as they only make up a small part of it. Yeah, the jobs data is not where I would like it to be, given the time of year, but maybe it's just lagging a bit. We'll see what it's like over the next few weeks. Balance of trade, that's come down a bit from where it was before. I think it was about 99 before. Oh, maybe it's just got revised. Or maybe I imagined it. But we should see that balance of trade improve as the US starts to manufacture more and they don't import as much from China. I think in the short term, this is going to get worse, though. China is dumping stock in the US before the tariffs come in. So we're going to see worse before we see better on that one. Initial jobless claims, I'm going to say that's going to be worse given the data that we're seeing, but we'll see. Fed speech, boring. Fed balance sheet, we'll see if the runoff continues as well. That's a wrap. If you enjoyed this content, give it a like. I'm going to go brace myself for the Fed rate decision today. Share this with your mum, your nan, your dad, your dog, and I will see you Monday for Clean Spark on Bitcoin updates.